All right, so if you're a GP, you'll probably be interested in this next little piece, how to systematically increase your billings. Now, this has come up because my practice manager pulled me aside and said, hey, Tom, guess what? Your billings suck. Your billings are consistently less. And I was like, well, okay, that's great. Why don't we have a look and see why that is and what I can do about it? So we pulled the numbers yesterday, and he pulled two other GPs. We looked at a 3-month period. So it's not like one of them just had a good week last week or the week before. And out of that numbers came some awkward findings. Average day billing for GP1 and for GP2, $2,400. Now that's before the rent that has to be paid to the practice. So it's not what they take home, but they get, let's say, average of 65%. So they get 2/3 of that. Now, me, guess where I came in? Over 3 months, $1,750. Now, that's roughly $650 a day less. Now, obviously, when we take that across the take home, if I'm on 65%, guess where that leaves me? $440 in pre-tax, pre-expense revenue. Now, does this make a difference? Well, it would. If I'm working a couple of days a week, let's say I'm working 3 days a week, that's almost $1,300 a week more in my pre-tax revenue. It's a lot of money. And I'm like, maybe it's a lot, maybe it's not, I don't know. Like, it's a significant amount. I don't know, 8 weeks a year, that leaves 42 weeks a year, roughly over probably 50 grand, $50,000 less. Why? Because I haven't paid attention to my Medicare billing numbers. So, the first thing is to admit there's a problem. Now, is this required? No, it's not necessarily required. But the thing is, it won't change if I don't say that there is a problem. Now, I could be perfectly happy billing $650 less per year. And then I'm like, okay, well, it's not a problem. And if it's not a problem, there's no reason to change. I'm just going to continue doing what I've always done. And guess what will happen? I'll continue to get the same results. But if it is a problem for me, and I would like to earn $50,000 plus per year by making a change, guess what I got to do? Got to make a change. So this is how I'm approaching it. I said to my practice manager, okay, why don't we pull the numbers that they've built? And here's the crazy thing. Like, we pull out these numbers and there's literally 2 to 2.5 times as many numbers in terms of Medicare numbers being used by these other 2 GPs than by me. Now, I'm lazy, perhaps. 23, 36, 2715, 2712, 721, 723, the 10997 and the 10991. That's probably my bread and butter. But there literally is a whole lot more numbers that they are using in order to make that extra. And this might just be the tip of the iceberg. Again, April Armstrong's course is probably worth taking. Investment, maybe $2,000, $3,000. Not sure how much that course is, but if I am leaving $50,000 on the table, then an investment of $2,000 to go earn $50 per year makes a lot of sense. This is interesting. Now, then, if I recognize what the numbers are, then we've got the more difficult challenge of why are those numbers not being used. Now, part of the problem is I don't know what the numbers are. I don't know when they should be used. So that's the first piece. And then it's habit change. What I've realized is that my current billing methodology goes something like this. See the patient, work out what's going wrong with them, work out how to manage it, let them head out the door, and then sort out the billing. But it appears to me that the Medicare game is not set up like this, even though that might be the most logical. Hold on 1 second, guys. Yes, darling.
Can you video me at the end of the line here?
Yes, we could. I'll tell you what you need to do. If you go backwards down, we can get some video. Oh, you want me just to video you?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, let's do that after. Okay, sweet. All right, I'd love to do that. All right, so Knowing what I'm doing right now is critical, working out why I'm getting the results that I'm getting, and then designing a new protocol, a new system in order to implement these changes. Now, there may be more things that need to be managed. My suspicion is that a lot of these numbers are on times that need to be tracked. Right now, this is very difficult to do in the moment. That if I know that a number can only be used once a year or once every 3 months or whatever the rules are, that if I'm not tracking when it was last used and my computer system does not make it easy to do that, or it just does not have any reminders or smartness to it, like any intelligence to it, then there's going to be money left on the table all the time. And I'm curious whether perhaps there's a whole lot more than just 2,400 that's possible. Not going Medicare fraud. I'm not talking about that. You can do that, but you'll be picked up. But how to utilize the system and do what the government wants us to do in order to get paid. Clearly, the days of billing 23s and 36s, even with private billing, would appear to be relatively ineffective versus cranking Medicare. It's like, all right, you want us to do this? Then okay, we'll do this. Does it make sense clinically? Probably not. But that's what happens when you have government people deciding how to do medicine. They're like, well, we want this done. It's like, that makes no difference at all. Don't care. We're still going to pay you if you do it. Okay. That's the madness of the whole thing. But at the end of the day, if we're going to choose to continue to be quasi-government employees, as we are through Medicare, then the game must be maximized. What else is on the table? Hey, perhaps something else. Perhaps you're like, you know what? I'm had it with this. I'm going to move to a different country. I'm going to get a different job. I'm going to do something else. Easier, quicker, and pays better. There's lots of jobs like that. But if you are called to medicine and you want to continue playing with government, then perhaps it's time, like me, to look at, okay, what has to change and what do I have better? Imagine it's not just $650, but it's actually something more like, so if it's something more like $1,500 a day, hey, maybe we've got a significant problem here. Is it still time for money? Yes, it is. Are there things that could be done where they're not converting time for money? But if we're going to play this game, then perhaps it's time to say, okay, I'm going to play by the rules. I'm going to accept that the government set the rules, and to play by those rules means that I'm making $600 to $1,500 in billings more a day, and that flows through and makes a difference for my family, for me, and stop fighting the system. All right, that's all I got for you. I'm going to continue walking back now with my daughter.